Hello everybody, welcome back to another brand new video. And also, before we do get started, exactly, is that normally I was going to make a video today, but now I guess I'd say here I am already that I'm about to make a video anyway. So my name is, well, my name definitely is right now that I'll say anyways that my name is once again to be is Golden Devin-Foxy, remastered speaking, gamers. And before I do start with this video here, is if you guys are new on this channel, by the way, on my fourth channel, go ahead and definitely absolutely subscribe so that way you won't miss a single video that comes on this channel. And of course, as I said anyway, that I know 4th of July was yesterday, but like I said, I'm just going to make a video anyway that I did briefly mention I was going to make a happy 4th of July video either today or the 6th of July by any chance anyway. So that's all I had to do. And also, just want to let you guys know, I was talking about like, oh, season 1 and how season 1 was, by the way, and of course the movie, by the way. It pretty much was full likely dialogued and explained on my live stream I talked about, by the way. And also, it was a good thing, by the way, I actually did meet the whole thing, by the way, so that way I wouldn't have to like, oh, I don't know, just to have to like mute the whole thing exactly, just to unmute it. So it's pretty much why. And also, as I do want to let you guys know anyway, is that, pretty much about how the whole thing's going to go down exactly. I did make some plans, by the way, about talking about is the Unwithereds, the toys, and Wizards as usual. That I did talk about those characters when I was going to be mentioned about the movie first. That of course it has to be the movie as first because I mean, why not something very scary like, and why not something very horror like? So as I can tell you guys anyway, that also don't forget that there are going to be some voice actors, like new voice actors who are going to like pretty much play as the toy animatronics, by the way. The one who's going to do Toy Freddy, Toy Bonnie, Toy Chica, Mangle, BB, aka Balloon Boy. Then yeah, that's pretty much why those 5 characters will actually get to voice their own characters apparently, which it is going to be pretty much be hidden and revealed a little bit, by the way, that it will be hidden and revealed by knowing the characters who actually will play the voices of the toy animatronics in my 4th channel. So that's all I have to let you guys know about. And also, the only thing I will give you guys a bit of a good news of info, by the way, and so-called amount of good info a little bit, is that the only info I do want to give you guys, the best part of the good info is, at least there's going to be some voice actors who's going to pretty much portray to be pretty much like the 5 characters, like new toy animatronic characters that actually will get to pretty much show their faces, by the way, in the second movie on my 4th channel, by the way. So as I can tell you guys about, the good news is that the voice actors thing aren't going to probably be mentioned right now in this video. That yes, technically speaking, that the characters will definitely betray to do their voices, by the way. And don't forget too, by the way, that of course I will mention to you guys, in Google Docs, by the way, of who the voices are going to be actually be portrayed as, by the way. It'll pretty much be explained a little bit exactly. I don't know what pretty much dialogue they will be explained on about, but as long as like, oh, I'm not too familiar with whatever exactly that's going to be, then who really knows? Like, for example, exactly, not really sure. But the only thing I can definitely tell you guys about the interesting part of the news, by the way, is that the voices of the toy animatronics, at least the voices of the toy animatronics are going to probably be like something pretty interesting, It's going to be pretty interesting. So, as I can say about the toy animatronics for Toy Freddy or the others, yeah, the voice is going to probably be a bit different, and the voices will stay the same as usual, which, I'm not trying to confuse people sometimes. I'm just trying to let you guys know about the good fact of the news is that The good news is, at least the characters are actually going to probably play those characters as the toy animatronics anyway, so that's all I had to let you guys know about. And oh yes, speaking about that anyway, is I did mention to you guys about my channel art earlier, is if you guys definitely enjoyed the channel art by the way, which technically it was Freddy's face by the way, of course it was like his face appearing on the screen, then yeah, that's pretty much Freddy for you guys by the way, that's for Freddy Fazbear for you guys already, which I just want to do something very interesting a little bit, just to show you guys something cool, just to kind of show you something interesting, by the way, in the live stream. So, if you guys liked it, by the way, then I hope that you guys did, by the way, and I hope to say I hope so. And also, of course, that the profile pic, by the way, is also going to get changed anyway, too, by the way. And yes, it is technically going to be about the Toy Animatronics' faces, by the way. That's going to be like Toy Freddy, Toy Bonnie, Toy Chica, Mangle, which of course obviously that those 4 characters will probably be appearing on the profile pic by the way, even though they have not actually considered to be in there exactly just yet, but unfortunately that's going to be a different dynamic, a little bit lesser to probably be mentioned anyways again, so I really don't know. It kind of depends on, however, with the whole thing going to be changed or something like that. I really don't know how that will probably change around, but I guess we'll see what happens. So, anyway, that's all I had to let you guys know about. And oh yes, happy 4th of July everybody, and consider saying this by the way, is yes, happy 4th of July folks, happy 4th of July, which I just want to say that to you guys for saying happy 4th of July and also happy 250th birthday for America as pretty much amazing, patriotic, amazing, badass, which that's all I want to say. And all I can tell you guys already by now exactly is something's going to probably be like a very good thing that's going to come around pretty soon about like, the good stuff about like the second movie and stuff is going to probably be a pretty interesting good role in there. And also, I was actually going to let you guys know that there is going to be like another familiar face, by the way, of another animatronic, by the way, which is also going to be a Hoax purple guy suit, which also, for those who don't know about the Hoax suit, I'm referring to like the Hoax of the animatronic suit, which is a different thing, by the way. Just want to let you guys know about there's going to be a different suit that is going to probably be another something, by the way, which also it's not going to be alive until like the movie continues to play a little bit, and then that's when, after when it's all over, then that's pretty much when that next MET video gets to probably be introduced, by the way. Even though, as I can say anyway, that the fake purple guys I mentioned before, by the way, that yes, I did mention about his fate earlier, about like, oh, what was his death going to be like, or what it's going to be like his, what his fate slash death's going to be like, if he ever dies in another suit, by the way, besides the Springlock and Springtrap. Well, as I can tell you guys already, that there is going to be a transformation, by the way, that's only going to be about pretty much in the first movie, not the second season, because I already know I'm actually am going to try to do something creative a little bit with another suit that's going to be recommendedly for a fake purple guy to get a second chance, to probably keep returning back a little bit for the second time, and just get a bit of like a good reunion a little bit with the real purple guy again, which that's pretty much what I can tell you guys already. And also, here's a bit of the fact that no, the real purple guy does not die, by the way. However, he is going to probably get killed at some point. Exactly, I don't know when he might probably will. But I think the real purple guy exactly, well, his fate probably is going to consider saying is this, that I think his fate is going to kind of say, for what is technically going to say, that I think the real purple guy might as well consider to get killed somewhere exactly in the third location, whatever, like, oh, there's going to be like a third movie going on or something like that, or maybe just a bit of a different occasion stuff, just for like whatever that's going to probably be, since we all probably do know that there is going to be like a amount of time when the real purple guy actually does consume to kind of get killed for the last time, by the way. I think he's going to get killed for the first time in the Springlock suit inside the Springlock spring trap. That's going to probably just kill him instantly. But, once he does get killed again, that's probably when something is going to be like, oh, something very, very interesting. you know. And also, I did say, by the way, about the role, by the way, that the real purple guy is going to give. He's going to give the real role to Black Soldier, by the way. For those who don't know who Black Soldier even is, by the way, well, I can tell you guys that Black Soldier is from the Team Fortress 2 character. That it's just pretty much a different color, by the way. But, more of like a different, outfit that's just been changed. Like let's just say the way he wears exactly, which of course I know it's the same soldier, but it's gonna probably just be the Black Soldier. I'm just liking to call his name about that because I mean, why is there not anything to call him but Black Soldier anyway? I mean, I know he might get his real name being revealed at some point later on until Purple Guy actually does consider talking with him in a moment by saying he's like, oh, what was his real name? Then not being called being Black Soldier, then yeah, that's pretty much you guys' utter question. That explanation will be full likely explained in the second movie, which of course I'm gonna have to explain this a little bit more further. A little bit is like, oh, when is there gonna be the right time just to kind of like flip from like whatever I have to flip from to flip? Well, in this time and around exactly, in this time around exactly, I think the only same thing is like the only same way that goes exactly is, let me tell you guys this, that yes, the real thing I can tell you guys already, that I think that when the time that Purple Guy starts talking with Black Soldier, by the way, it means that Black Soldier, by the way, is actually going to confirm to talk about his real name, by the way, which is going to probably be true. So for those again who may or will not know about Black Soldier, you guys are going to have to probably find out for yourselves. And also, the main question too, by the way, however, that I do find it a lot interesting a little bit, is think about like how interesting the collaboration could still be, is with like fake Purple Guy and real Purple Guy finally talking to each other again. That actually is going to be like another conversation in the second movie, which, yes, the real Purple Guy is going to be pissed at the fake Purple Guy because, due to the fact of like, fake Purple Guy actually getting killed exactly in the first movie. So that is probably why. I do have like a very interesting theory a little bit that I actually was kind of thinking about a little bit from here, is I do realize to kind of think a little bit, is I did figure it out a little bit that the only thing I figured out was that the fake Purple Guy was going to finally have a good commitment to finally talk to the real Purple Guy himself, while he pretty much remains to be in the hoax suit that is going to be remain to be called Purple Guy Hoax, or just Hoax Purple Guy. Not really sure what the name's going to be like, but I think it's going to kind of be a different name, either the first or second name I'll probably go on about. But for those who might want to know or don't want to know, that's pretty much what I can make it to say to anyone else right now. That I'm going to probably just be thinking about that a little bit less to kind of mention that further anyway. But anyway, as I can tell you guys anyway, the full facts here a little bit is that it depends when the animatronic suit of the plush character, that actually gets to make the entrance, that I will try to find that suit and try to find that plush version of that suit, and we'll try to find it on Amazon and we'll go and get it exactly. Which I did want to kind of see this interesting collaboration and talk a little bit between how the fake Purple Guy and the real Purple Guy might deserve a bit of camera time in the second movie, which I do kind of agree on this moment a little bit on this, very much likely a good amount of conversations a little bit, that yes, what the real thing I can mention to say right now, that I would love to see an interesting conversation between two purple guys that may look like the same, but so far the real Purple Guy is the one who did the causing the kills and the murders, by the way. The fake Purple Guy well, he only did half a bit of his bidding a little bit by actually spreading the purple guy virus into pretty much in the previous animatronics, by the way, for the first time. But in this time around, things are going to kind of be a little bit more different. As I could probably say, touche is touche, which it is going to probably be so. Now, however, with like most other characters that's siding with Purple Guy, by the way, like the only characters who are actually siding with Purple Guy is pretty much Black Spy that's actually siding with the Purple Guy, which pretty much exactly like a few of the characters are actually siding with him. Yes, pretty much with Black Spy's two sons, by the way, that is Kaiser and Zatch, by the way, that yes, I think for what I said, by the way, exactly is for those who don't know about who Kaiser is, that Kaiser is a Blue Scout, apparently, that actually is technically the son of Black Spy, apparently, for the same cause. Of the only point, too, is just different looks, which I think Black Spy and Black Soldier became friends before they even got busted by the officers, by the way, that were just red and blue officers that caught them on, like, for something that they actually caught them on a few amount of miles away and arrested them easily. So that's probably why that the real purple guy isn't going to go playing that easily nice with most of characters. He's only going to do it the harder way to kind of get back up to his system a little bit and will actually continue to be evil and will continue to remain heartless as always. But as what I can tell you guys already, that the real purple guy isn't going to be playing around at this time by now, which it is going to get interesting, as I can probably tell you guys anyway, how interesting it's going to play out and will assume to play out anyway. And also, no, Springtrap will not appear in the second season, or technically, pretty much, however, is that he probably won't appear anywhere else than probably like, oh, I don't know, probably from the beginning exactly. He only might appear at the end for somehow, for some reason that I think I'm actually am trying to be a bit more intelligent for knowing when Springtrap might get an appearance, by the way. Like, the amount of time in the movie version of the second movie version is that, there is going to be like a, credit scene at the end, by the way, where the third movie might actually be an official, which I think the third one is I can mention about that, by the way. It is going to be moved right along to Fazbear's Fright, by the way, just for those who didn't notice, by the way, that yes, technically in Fazbear's Fright, that Springtrap will actually show his face and will actually, well, just get his own scene, by the way, by actually seeing in the aftermath that yes, the real purple guy has already been killed in the aftermath, but the real alternative non-aftermath that purple guy wasn't killed in the Springlock suit in Springtrap. It was just all part of like a whole scheme of plans that the real purple guy has been doing for years, ever since 1987's incident that still happened. But to this day already, I'm just wanting to like create something very legendary, very spooky, and very much likely the legend of all spookiness of all time, exactly, which I think I have to say I won't mention any spoilers about the real purple guy's ongoing continuation of like, him wanting to be inside the Springlock suit ever since he's been doing that in Fazbear's Fright for decades, which, it's gonna probably be like a different thing a little bit, but sometimes, it's gonna have like characters where Springtrap is gonna get some revenge on pretty much Mike Smith, by the way, once like he takes the job again. Like I think he may take the job the third time again, exactly at this time in a row. That whenever that actually does depend on, however, whenever it actually will make sense, which probably will make sense eventually. So it will make sense regardlessly, and it will make sense more likely to know when it's gonna happen and how it's gonna happen. So it's going to be a lot of questions to kind of reveal many things about it, which it is going to probably be a lot of mysteries to kind of figure out a little bit. But in my own question to be is right now that I think, for an example, let's go ahead and talk about Zatch, by the way. That yes, Zatch, by the way, well, more likely a version of Tyler, but more likely a bit of a different world for those who didn't know who that character is. That I think that character is also the same son of Black Spy, by the way. Technically, both sons, by the way, that actually were the both sons exactly that were known to be as Kaiser and Satch, that yes, they pretty much were evil as well to probably work along with Purple Guy, and they do seem to kind of like side with him anyways, and yeah, that's all I have to say. And of course, finally, that there was another spy, by the way, that there was another red spy, but somehow the other character was pretty much the dead. It was pretty much like something like the dead version of himself, a little bit more likely, a bit creepier, and a little bit more odd, which is pretty much more like another character that I might have to rewatch a little bit about who that character already is, which I did say to assume to say that, however, for him, he is also siding with the purple guy and also siding with many evil characters, which it does make sense that purple guy might have the upper hand and might have like the easiest advantages a little bit just to kind of like do a bit of sabotaging exactly while continuing to pretty much do whatever they gotta do. And also, the main question you might ask myself, by the way, is however, how is this gonna go all down with most likely all the characters wanting to finally get revenge on Mike Schmidt, or by chance exactly? It is going to probably take its course, and many reasons to say it's going to take its course for a lot of times anyway. But what I can tell you guys anyway, that you know, whatever's going to be the time is whenever that's going to be the time. And oh, yeah. The only thing I can tell you guys anyway is about the characters, who's going to live and who's going to die. Well, in my prediction about the characters who are working with Purple Guy to side with him exactly, let's just say in the matter of the nick of time, by the way, of however exactly, only in the movie version, it is not going to be involved in the second season. It's just only going to be about the movie version of that kind, by the way, which has two alternative realities. So by the way, I want to let you guys know again that there are two alternative realities a little bit by seeing where all that is going on anyway, but I just want to keep it a little bit to the side of the movie version itself, and then versus like season 2 exactly with like no alternative anyway. So the characters who might die basically in the second movie, it is going to depend on whoever might actually threaten the animatronics, by the way, not to imitate them too much, or that's when they could probably instantly jump scare the character or kill the character anyway, by the way, which that's all I want to let you guys know about. And of course, for an exactly, that's all I want to let you guys know about. But anyway, all I gotta let you guys know about by anyways, that yes, Shadow Freddy and Shadow Bonnie are actually still considering to assume to side with like the evil, by the way, but somehow in time, by over time a little bit, as the shadows are realizing a little bit that, they might actually never might side with like Purple Guy again, or considering whoever exactly, but all I can say is that, well, they're their own shadows, by the way. That's referring to Shadow Freddy and Shadow Bonnie. They have their own choices a little bit to kind of decide with back with the Fazbear crew or just with Purple Guy already. But that's pretty much my full-on analysis of the answer for you guys. Just letting you guys know that this is just my full conversation a little bit, by the way. Just giving you guys a little bit of like a vision, a little bit of what my vision would look like in the second movie of how things might go on, which it probably would be pretty cool, to be honest with you guys anyway. It probably would be like the coolest thing I would ever still do, by the way, exactly. So it is pretty much why I'd say this anyway, just to kind of give you guys a bit of like an interesting look through things, exactly just for like the look of things, by the way. Yeah, it is going to be one hell of a good movie, and I'd say it's going to probably be pretty interesting. So, if you guys do like that idea, then yes, I hope that you guys like the idea and enjoy the idea. And also, by the way, main of the question is that is Jeremy Fitzgerald going to get killed? Well, the answer I said back in my last live stream, I mentioned about Jeremy Fitzgerald. Well, I think Jeremy Fitzgerald is going to have like a short-lived time that he might actually still be alive for a couple of days or a couple of hours and nights for how he's going to probably stay alive for a while. But whatever he's going to probably do, by the way, if somehow for some reason that he might get killed by either one of the animatronics, by the way, is that I think he might not go on a little easier to kind of like surpass any other knight anyway. I think the time when like he gets killed at some point, that's when like David Parks might inform Mike Schmidt again, which it is not going to look good, by the way. If some reason, if Jeremy Fitzgerald does get killed anyway, it's not going to be a good sign, and it's not going to kind of be a good look for almost likely how Jeremy Fitzgerald might actually take the surprising reaction for him to die, which, for honesty, by the way, he's still been alive ever since the movie and season one. It's just been freaking insane, likely, just to kind of relook on back the dates a little bit for how long he's been always been around. It's just like very top notch a little bit. It's just like pretty crazy in my opinion. It's pretty crazy. So anyway, that's all I can tell you guys anyway about the news, and just tell you guys what's even gonna go happening anyways. Like, for some reason I actually am making a prediction marks a little bit by talking about like, oh, which characters are gonna die and which characters aren't going to technically die, which it's gonna probably be either the chosen reason by seeing whoever is and who won't probably die is gonna be like a full likely just to take its course and see where all this is gonna lead and where all that's gonna go. Which the main question I might ask myself is that it is pretty insane. And it is actually pretty crazy. So all I can say is we just have to see what happens and pray to God, by the way, and just pray to God to know how insane that's gonna probably be for most likely for every FNAF fan out there that might figure out the question a little bit by knowing what's gonna happen, in most of the dialogue from the beginning to middle and end. And also, question is that yes, I will actually consume to pretty much add more chapters in the second movie this time, but this time it's gonna be like a longer chapters. Like it's gonna be a long chapter. It's gonna be like a long chapter. Like think about it. It's gonna be like a long chapter that's ever been made for quite a time. And even in fact, it's gonna be even a longer one than the first movie was. Like on my fourth channel exactly. Like literally. Like on my fourth channel it's just like it's going to probably be like that, but it's more likely going to be a bit crazy, and it's going to probably be something like that. And also, here's a bit of like a fun fact or a little bit of a hint, by the way, that I want to give you guys a little bit on the third movie, by the way. Even though that the third movie's not in production on my fourth channel right now, that it's not been talked about a little bit already, which I did make a few bit of talks and conversations to that question, yet on a board that I made that question a little bit abundantly clear a little bit for everyone, is that the third movie, let's just say the third movie is going to be depressing. It is going to be depressing, a bit dark, and very dark. Like it's going to be very dark. Like, I think it's going to be roaming around about Purple Guy wanting to still go after Mike Schmidt one final time to kill him, which that's pretty much what he wants to do. That the real Purple Guy will take revenge and vengeance against pretty much to say that against to say exactly that he wants to still get revenge, basically upon that he wants to get revenge on Mike Schmidt for pretty much however that he ever did to him, by the way, was in fact that he was going to get revenge exactly. Oh, the real Purple Guy was already pissed, however, that even though he wasn't there exactly, it was the fake Purple Guy that caused all the nonsense, by the way, that went after them. So that is pretty much why. And also, I know it does kind of seem that I know that Purple Guy and Mike Schmidt would have a great fight with each other a little bit. I know they would have had like a one-on-one fight off a little bit, but unfortunately, I guess that's not the only thing that's ever going to be repeatedly answered, which I pretty much find that it's just going to be very different, as I can definitely be talking about that. So anyway, that's all I want to let you guys know about. And the main question I might ask myself a little bit is this question. So, the question I'm about to ask myself a little bit is, however, and technically reasoned in the FNAF 3 movie, which of course I've not added a dang movie name, of course, which of course I have not added that name yet, which I probably will still do so in the community post, by the way. That will still be on my fourth channel, by the way. to kind of confirm the name, by the way, that I'll pretty much confirm to make the name, by actually adding two choices for everybody to decide and pick. That's going to probably decide from like, this side from here and that side from there to kind of decide what movie name would be pretty impressive. Which, even though it might still sound a bit of like a depressing thing a little bit, which, yes, technically it's always been about Final Fantasy 3. It's going to have a different nostalgia and it's going to have a different, unique amount of style and a unique about, most likely about the whole likely about how everything's going to go down a little bit in the final, just to know how Springtrap will finally kill him, which it's going to be the real Springtrap. That purple guy will pretty much be in that suit. So that's pretty much exactly the real deal, and that's the biggest deal of all deals, by the way. And also, there is going to be a scene for you guys, by the way, where actually Springtrap will get to finally meet Black Soldier, by the way. But technically, Purple Guy has already met him, but pretty much for Black Soldier, no, he has not met Springtrap, even though he actually will still be in a suit, aka real Purple Guy, to be in the Springlock suit, which it does mean that for Purple Guy, by the way, his face is never going to be shown again, by the way, his face, and he might get killed off exactly, because the reason why he is going to get killed off exactly in the third movie is because whenever he starts to get killed in the end, by the way, yes, there are going to be a few scenes, by the way, of extra scenes before he did took his death, before that actually did happen, by the way, which of course I'm going to do a little bit of reverse psychology a little bit, just actually adding a different momentum on that third movie just to make the entire amount of the effects of how season 3 or the movie are going to be a bit separate. Like, they're going to be separate ways from each other, but I think season 3 will not have that kind of nostalgia as the third one will be. So, as I can tell you guys anyway, that yes, it is going to be like a reverse psychology a little bit between how the real Purple Guy has already been killed, considering in the movie that he will basically die and exactly will somehow try to escape because Mike will probably get away before that could have happened, before the fire might happen, which he probably will escape exactly until 6 a.m. as usual, and then he'll just run out the door and leave exactly, which, it's going to be like all that exactly, which is going to be pretty much insane a little bit, so I know. It's going to be a little crazy, and it's going to be a little bit, a bit of action-y fighting going on, which of course that I know Mike Schmidt will encounter Springtrap, by the way. I know that they're going to be throwing some dukes a little bit, throwing punches a little bit, which of course that I know again that, yeah, it's going to probably be one hell of a fight pretty much in the end, which, it's going to be about like the Fazbear's Fright thing going to burn down on the ground, which, no, it's not been burned down to the ground just yet. It's only going to be something like much likely further away until Springtrap will still get revenge upon Mike Schmidt and will stop him for good, which, if the real Purple Guy does kill him, or should I say Springtrap will kill him, it means that Springtrap might finally win and Mike Schmidt will probably be dead. It might be considered getting killed off in the end, which means he'll no longer come back ever again, and he might never, come back ever again exactly because, once he's probably, dead exactly, it means that, well, he survived, a lot of things, by the way. He survived a lot for many of those times, which there's going to probably be, another security guard character that might actually take his place, which I think that's going to probably be a different name. Assuming to know what another name's going to probably be like. Who knows? It depends anyway to kind of know where this is going to go on. So, anyway, that's all I can tell you guys anyway. And also, the real thing is that pretty much that the real Purple Guy is going to do, or should I say Springtrap and Black Soldier are going to do, by the way, is that, well, technically once they have some conversation alone, by the way, it's going to kind of either depend on however that they're going to spend a bit of time a little bit exactly, which of course that I know Black Soldier's going to feel a little sorry about, when Purple Guy died in the suit, by the way, the real Purple Guy did exactly, which, it's going to probably be a bit of a true thing, but Purple Guy, yeah, his urge is going to be a lot more darker than just being plain old nice a little bit. He's just going to have a bit of revenge a little bit and just maybe have a bit half revenge a little bit. He's supposed to always kind of be a bit scary and always will be very evil and dominantly very heartless of evil, which that's pretty much what Springtrap's portrayed to be as, and he will always will be very much be that kind of that character. So it probably will make sense eventually anyway of how his attitude will probably will be. So it's probably what I'm expecting to see what happens anyway until like the second season and the movie will probably be over. That's when I'll actually will hop on board and will actually introduce to get characters out by the way, and including yes that there will be some ghosts that I won't mention about the ghost anyway of Fazbear's Fright, not to mention about any of the ghosts, which I probably won't mention any of that by the way. And also, that's all I want to talk about right there. And that's all I want to mention anyway. So the main fact is, if you guys enjoy this interesting video, remember these 4 things if you're a new person on this channel is like, comment, subscribe, and the bell to be notified. That way you won't miss a single video that comes on this channel. And speaking about that anyway, is I want to definitely still tell you guys is happy 4th of July. And I really do hope that you guys actually did have a good 4th of July. Let me know again in the comments so I'll be able to reply, by the way, and get right on board to that. So, anyways, this being said anyway, I definitely am going to consider signing off and we'll get going anyway. So, as if you guys definitely liked my theories of the question about like me talking about voice acting, which of course it's going to be involving about the toy animatronics, that they're actually gonna actually get their roles in their scripts, by the way. You know, once they do meet the withered animatronics, by the way, they won't get to meet their unwithered versions of themselves. It's only going to be about toys meeting with withered animatronics. And yes, the same rivalry as I mentioned on the last live stream the other night. I mentioned that yes, the rivalry is going to stay the same with pretty much the withereds and toy animatronics on their same behalf of their rivalry about actually being on the show stage. Well, pretty much in most conditions and most likely making sense. So that is probably why. It has to pretty much do the same thing. It has to pretty much stay. So, for now exactly, thank you guys again for watching. And I hope that we actually do reach 200 subscribers, by the way. So if you guys want to go ahead and help out on this 4th channel, by the way, we really do need you guys' help to actually continue subscribing. So that way, we'll get a lot of good support from everybody a little bit and actually get some good support. And also for those who might want to rewatch my other live streams, yes, by the way, those 2 live streams are going to be in 2 separate playlists that are going to actually be confirmed to be on those playlists. And yeah, that's going to probably what's going to be on right there. And oh yeah, as I would want to mention about to you guys about like, you know, Google Slides, by the way. Yes, for some technical reason about Google Slides exactly is, well, let me tell you guys something. Is that by the time on the Google Slides, I want to mention this anyway further about like that exactly. Is that the only thing I'm going to say on that about Google Slides, by the way, is I think the only thing I will mention about that, yes, Google Slides is going to be the same thing on the second season. It is not going to be guaranteed to be involved on the movie. Like, the only thing it will consider constantly be mainly to be focused on the movie is that I didn't have the trailer right now because, of course, I didn't get the trailer anyway due to the fact I need to get jump scares done with most likely a bit of like half a bit of animatronics left to do, and that's when I'll be able to confirm the fact about like me confirming about like the trailer that I will try to do, and will try my hardest on that exactly, and will confirm to get the trailer out, by the way. And yes, it is going to be pretty different as the very first encounter that was going to be different, and of course it's going to be a different pizzeria. It will be called is Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria 2, which that's what it's going to be called exactly, and that's what it's exactly going to be called like. So that's all I want to let you know about. And yes, technically, yes, it is going to kind of be like that, and it is going to have like a number, by the way, that will actually be on like a pizzeria sign that will actually be confirmed to be on that sign. So it's pretty much why. Anyways, this being said anyways, I hope that you guys in fact enjoyed this video, and I will say this again to you guys right now, is if you guys are excited for many good things to happen anyway, then we'll try our hardest to kind of get videos out, by the way, and we'll get some of them out, by the way. And oh yes, just want to let you guys know that I will show you guys the characters of the plush versions of themselves being okay, by the way. Like yes, I'm actually am now allowed to show you guys the FNAF 1 characters, 2, 3, and not the other ones right now yet. Because, I don't want to really kind of mention about like the timeline being messed up, by the way. Because, I mean, for me, I do want to kind of stick on to focus about like the factor a little bit about the focus, about me focusing on about like, I really do want to focus to stay back on is the second and third version of like right now, exactly what I'm referring to be talking about right now. And of course, I'm not going to mention about 4, 5, or whatever exactly. I really am not going to mention it anyway. Because due to the fact of me mentioning the facts honestly by saying is like, oh, I can't get like the characters that cannot be summonedly to be mentioned because otherwise I really want to be focusing on the second channel and third channel. Not that. Sorry, sometimes my words get a little harder to kind of talk about here, but sorry. Anyway, I meant to say about the characters about like FNAF 4 or 5 that I'm not going to probably be assuming to kind of reveal the characters to be out, by the way, so it's pretty much not going to happen, but there is going to be something that I think Springtrap and Black Soldier are going to probably do exactly is, work on the suits, by the way, of like considering working on the suits. And then once that's kind of confirmed to be over, then yes. The only thing I can tell you guys anyway, that Black Soldier will probably have business things to attend to, by the way, will actually continue to work on Purple Guy's legacy. Like the real Purple Guy's legacy, or should I say, Springtrap's legacy, to kind of continue on with the animatronic characters to be alive, and of course like new animatronic names and per usual stuff. So that's pretty much why that Springtrap will give Black Soldier, by the way, the opportunity of the green light, by the way, to actually confirm the green light. It will actually make the green light happen. So that's all I can tell you guys right now. And speaking of that anyways, I will say this otherwise, is thank you guys again for watching. And I will say this anyway, that I will go ahead and consider signing right off. And yeah, hope I say again otherwise that we'll see you soon in the next time. And as always, in the next video. And yeah, so anyways, this is Golden Devin-Foxy Remastered speaking again or something like that or whatever. But let me just say this anyway, that I will see you guys later and next time. And I will go ahead and sign out anyways. So thank you guys for watching. And yes, happy 4th of July and happy 250th birthday for America as always. So anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. I'll see you guys next time. And there is like a few good news I mentioned in this timestamp I mentioned. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. But anyway, see you guys next time and sign right off.